Hi, I'm Jennifer with MT Business Technologies. I'm going to show you how to use your new Xerox black and white copier. When you have your key card, your swipe card, you're just going to basically tap it here and it will automatically log you into the device. However, today we're going to go ahead and do a manual login where I'm going to use my code. So there's a mini keyboard here in the corner that I'm going to tap, and it is going to ask me for my login details. So if I press this number keypad here, it changes the screen to my numbers. So I'm just going to simply type in my code here and press enter. And then it's going to ask me for my PIN. So I'm going to go through the same thing, type my number in, press enter, and I am now logged into the device. But again, if you have your swipe card, you can tap it, it will do that automatically. So at this point, I'm going to go to Access Device. And if you have printed something from your computer and you need to get that print job, you're going to go to this icon that says Print Release. So when you select that, it's going to pull up all of your print jobs that are on that screen, and you can simply select them and select print, or there is also a way to delete as well at the very bottom of the screen. To get back to where we were, I would simply go to Access Device and Access Device, and that gets us back to this home screen. So again, that was by going into the Print Release to release your print jobs. What we're going to talk about next is scanning. So scanning is going to be email. Email is scan to email. So I'm going to pick this email icon. And at this point, it's asking for a to field. So I can just start typing a name with the keypad, and it pulls up anyone associated with that name. So I can just choose who I want here. If I want to scan this document to another person, I can type that field, select that field, and start typing another name. And it pulls up anyone associated with that name. So you can scan to more than one person at a time. At this point, I want to make sure I have my originals on the top, and I would simply select Send to send that scan. Some other features that you have underneath that, the subject line and the PDF document itself defaults to say Xerox scan. However, if I want to put in my own name, I can select that. It pulls up a keyboard where I can actually type in the name of my document, press enter, and then press send. So if you do want to name the document or the subject line, if you just tap it, it will give you that option to type in your own name. If you want to scan in color or black and white, you do have the option here where it says output. Two-sided scanning, if you have a need for that, you can select two-sided to scan your documents that are front and back. Original type is where you can tell it if it's a photo, text photo. It just gives it better quality depending on your original. And underneath that is going to be lightening and darkening if you need to adjust that scale accordingly. So once again, at the very top of the screen is where you can select your additional features. If I'm in this screen and I want to start over and clear out my settings, I can press reset at the bottom, and that simply clears out the settings, but it keeps me logged in to the device. So that is going to the reset screen at the very bottom to reset those features. At this point, if I'm done scanning and I want to get back to the home screen, I can just pick that home button to get back to where we started. Your copy features are going to be to the left of that. So if you do need to use the copy screen, this is going to be your pop-up. You simply put in your quantity, press start. The first item underneath that for your additional features is going to be two-sided. So when you select that, it gives you your options here. So the first one is 1 to 2-sided, where you have single-sided and you want them two-sided. The second one is going to be 2 to 2-sided, where you have 2-sided originals and you want 2-sided copies. And then the last one is going to be 2-sided to 1-sided, where it takes a 2-sided original and separates it back out to single-sided copies. So once again, if we pick 2-sided, you would select those options accordingly. Underneath that is going to be your paper supply. So this simply shows your paper trays. The bypass tray is going to be on the left-hand side of your device. So this is going to be your bypass tray. And if you are using that tray, let's say if you're doing labels or cardstock, when you put your documents in that tray, you're going to get a pop-up on the screen that shows the size, the type, and the color. So if you are going to use labels or cardstock, if you select that where it says plain, it gives you a whole list of different paper types, and you can adjust that accordingly so you won't get misfeeds for that thicker paper that might be going through that bypass screen. But again, you will not see that until you actually slide the paper in that tray. So if I then want to select the bypass tray to feed from, I can simply go to my paper supply and choose that tray. But otherwise, it does default to auto select, where if you're just doing regular copying, you won't have to make any selection in that screen. Collated, that simply means that this defaults, all the Xerox copiers automatically default to sort. So it will automatically collate for you. So if I put, let's say, a quantity of 10, and it's automatically on collated, it's going to do your sets 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If for some reason you don't want those sets collated for that particular job, I can tap that to turn collated off. Otherwise, it defaults to be on at all times. So this is where you can make that selection. Reduce and enlarge is underneath that. So if you need to reduce and enlarge, you can either type in a percentage or you can go up and down in 1% increments to make that adjustment. So that's by going into reduce and enlarge. And then original type, once again, is where I can tell it if it's a text photo or photo to give it better quality. And then underneath that, you do have your lightening and darkening if you have a need for that. One thing I will mention for the copies, if you are going to copy off the glass, there will be an icon on the home screen that will say odd size. So if you're copying an 8.5 by 11 document, maybe it's stapled, or maybe you're copying a newspaper clipping that's smaller that you need to do off the glass, you would simply line it up in that corner. There will be a button that says odd size, and it will automatically take that document and force it to an 8.5 by 11 tray. So again, if you're copying off the glass, you won't want to use the copy screen because it is a bit sensitive and it may say it can't detect the size. You will simply use the odd size icon on that home screen. So those are pretty much your basic features for copying and scanning, scan to email. The jobs icon is basically just a job status area if you do need to delete a job or want to know how long a job's going to take to print out. It allows you to just monitor that or look at that in this jobs icon screen. If you do want to log out and you are done with your copy job or scanning and so forth, you can either use your swipe card to tap the pad there, or I can go up into this left-hand corner where it shows my name that I'm logged in, and I can select that and go to log out to log me out of the device. Otherwise, it will log you out automatically after 60 seconds. Thank you so much.